Chapter 21 Sri Bibi Joginder Kaur Ji. Tiny being that I think big events very much applies to the life story of Bibi Joginder Kaur Ji. She was the wife of my companion friend, Sri Surjan Singh Ji, resident of village Gujral. She was born at village Majde Doba in prominent Namdari family. Bhai Surjan Singh was also from a well-known Namdari family. In divine dispensation, Bhai Surjan Singh Ji resolved to get baptized in Gumat Samagam of Akhand Kirtani Jata. The Sikh tenets require both husband and wife to be baptized as a couple. Thus it became mandatory for Bibi Joginder Kaur to join her husband in baptizing ceremony. However, her parental family was deadly against this and even advised her to break off the marriage. Bibi replied very boldly, "It was your selection to find my husband for lifelong. With what face do you ask me to divorce your son choice? My loyalty to him is my sacred duty now. In fact, I am even more eager than my husband to seek baptism in Gumat Samagam. In pursuing this divine-prompted desire of faith and high spirituality, we are not committing any sin." She was threatened of social boycott, but she never cared. Yet another strong opposition came from Bibi's father-in-law. He promised to make her the only nominee to inherit all his assets if she would decline baptism. However, she refused to be trapped by this snare of greed and instead accepted to lead a life of beggary as faithful wife. In short, trampling over all opposition, the couple got baptized. She had instant experience of intense spirituality and was completely lost in Nam Simran. Saturated with Nam Nectarian, she could cope with the unbearable spiritual bliss. Her head was now adorned with double turbans, damba. She proved to be a thorough and word in action in the want of braves of faith all her life. It was most gratifying to behold her pious sight of short stature, sharp, beautiful natural features. She acquired new vigor of youthfulness and glowing face after baptism. It was difficult to face her majestic, spiritual look that was characteristic of olden Sikh ladies. She appeared delicate in body and yet enthralled in spiritual bravery of spirit. To illustrate this, the following should suffice. Confrontation at Chamkaur Sahib. The entire Jatha, including ladies, used to visit Chamkaur Sahib during annual commemoration of Martyrdom Day of the two elder sons of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji. We used to travel by foot up to Doraha, and then on it was through ferry boat and canal. The samagams at Chamkaur Sahib offered many blissful events. However, it was most unpleasant that during procession of Hola Mahalla, the then-controlling Nihang Singh priests did not allow Sangat entry into the Gurdwara Kaltar Sahib, historical place of martyrdom of elder Sahibzadas, Baba Ajit Singh Ji and Baba Bujar Singh Ji. We could only circumambulate at the outer periphery. Though Jatha was ever irresistible, yet we were restrained by humble request made by convener of these samagams, Baba Veer Singh Ji and by Hira Singh Ji Kairi. This was repeated every year. However, it was a different story during pilgrimage in 1914. When we re-embarked from the ferry boats at the Gamal Bridge, we were received by a large gathering of local Sangat, including Babu Veer Singh Ji and Bhai Hira Singh Ji. Some fiery Singhs informed us that priests have gathered hundreds of Nihang Singh, and they were spoiling for trouble. They had already pushed out of the Gurdwara a party of pilgrim ladies most disgracefully. Like the proverbial saying, when pierced by an arrow, then alone full fury is evoked, the entire Jatha got infuriated and charged with religious fervor. It was announced there was no earlier chance of peaceful journey, and then that no earthly power could hold back Jatha from paying homage inside the Gurdwara by making circumambulation of inner periphery, parkarma. Thus started Kirtan in do-or-die mood, and Jatha was proceeding towards Gurdwara. Hearing the irrevocable decision, even the peacemakers felt helpless. None dared to intervene. Even Bhai Hira Singh Ji commented that none could stop them now. Following the Jatha was multitude of people in thousands. The lion-hearted Bibi Joginder Kaur, holding an arrow in hand, was leading the Jatha. A mere fleeting sight of her splendorous glory was unbearable for me. Like a river in spate, the entire assembly singing kirtan neared the Gurdwara. Many more people joined there. Gurdwara was being guarded by Nihang Singhs. They were armed with arrows and bared swords. The singers were haunted by their sinful thoughts. Their claim to hold back Sangat from paying homage inside Gurdwara was hollow. Who could hold back surge of emotional religious love of the devout with firm determination? It was decided to carry on the march to enter Gurdwara while singing kirtan. One mindless burly Nihang Singh of good dild, Bhai Sahib, Bhai Randir Singh Ji, shot an arrow aimed at my neck, but it missed with prevision divine. Bhai Surjan Singh Ji, accompanying me, stopped the arrow with his hand. His injured hand bled profusely. The onlookers thought that a murder had been committed. The Nindings were also frightened, thinking consequences of a murder. It was mere flow of blood that did not amount to murder, yet in vain. Seeing this stage of violent confrontation, Bibi Joginder Kaur leaped into action like a lioness. Challenging my attacker, she snatched away arrow from the giant-like Nihang Singh and said, "O evil being, have you no fear of the piety of Gurdwara Sahib and the holy congregation, Sangat, that you shoot arrow at your own brethren?" This single act of boldness was enough to arouse reaction from Singh, and they attacked the priests to push them out of Gurdwara Sahib. We continued to advance and singing kirtan. All the Nihang Singhs fled away. Their abandoned weapons came as booty to the Jatha. We circumambulated around both inner and outer peripheries singing Gurbani Kirtan. It was now time for evening prayer, Sodar. Standing in presence of Sri Guru Granth Sahib, we sang Sodar. Bibi Joginder Kaur, in her mood of bravery and love, divine requested for Chopai Sahib Kirtan, Gurdwara of supplication to Lord by Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji. This was done with utmost devotion and gusto. All enjoyed the rare bliss of this soulful kirtan. The priests, after their disgraceful retreat, started sending telegrams to high government officials in Ambala and Ropar to inform of decoy and making plea for relief. We did not take any serious note of their reporting to government. We were thrilled by this first homage inside Gurdwara Sahib. The organizers were quite shaken by the events. Observing the ambrosial hours, we started Asadivar Kirtan within the holy precincts of Gurdwara Katalgar Sahib. The kirtan was still to be concluded when police party with rifles and bayonets arrived at about 11 a.m. from Ropar. They were headed by a British captain and included one Muslim inspector and one Arya Samaj magistrate. They were put up in the adjoining school building. A message was received that Bhai Randir Singh is wanted by Sahib. I must doubt that. There is no Sahib other than Guru Gobind Singh Sahib. Bibi Joginder Kaur boldly added, "Singhs are not bound to report to any petty Sahib." Boog ceremony was performed of Asadivar Kirtan. At about that range Sajayog time, the weak-minded leading personalities of Champ Kaur Sahib presented themselves at the school. A paper of mutual settlement was peacefully made out and passed around for signatures. When a resident of Champ Kaur Sahib, Sardar from Benholpur, was signing, a bold advocate commented in loud voice, "There is no significance of signature by the local people. The dispute is between the visiting Sardar and the priests. There cannot be any agreement without their participation and concurrence." Now that we had race time, we got information about the attempted agreement. With a view that a wrong agreement may not be arrived at, I went to the school in fully saturated spiritual state. I doubt if I'm the one who got a wrong agreement voiced in. The British captain, other officials, and everybody around stood up. I was offered a chair. Then I noticed that all of the Nihang Singh Jatha were disgracefully seated on the floor. I could not bear this insult to Nihang Singhs. I said, "It is highly disgraceful that the beloved soldiers of Guru's house are prostrating on the floor. How can I accept a chair?" I addressed Nihang Singhs. "Don't you realize this is insult to you?" With this, all were seated on benches. The captain requested me humbly, "This is an application for mutual settlement of the dispute. Kindly attend your signatures." I asked the agreement to be read out to me first. I noticed the following wording: "The local and visiting devotees shall take out Homla Mohalla processions and pay homage at Gurdwaras, but the circumambulation of outer periphery of Gurdwara Katalgar Sahib alone is permissible. To visit inside the Gurdwara, devotees shall be permitted one by one. However, if some devotee is suspected to belong to scheduled caste, Chora, that person shall not be allowed." On hearing this, I snatched away papers of agreement and, tearing away, trampled under my feet. The British officer got flabbergasted and asked, "What is this?" I replied, "Have you come to start a disturbance or arrange for peace?" He agreed that his purpose was to establish peace. I convinced him that the last sentence would only brew more trouble. If mischievous people keep pointing at random as Chora, who would put up with this insult? I told him that he had not understood the real mischief behind this wording. On this, asking for elucidation, I advised him, "It appears you are new to this country and are unaware of the prevailing conditions. Your subordinates will ignite public disturbance and earn the blame for you." In this fury, he wanted to say something, but I stopped him. I proceeded thus. I asked the Samaji magistrate, "What is your religion?" He replied that he was Arya Samaj. I inquired, "After purification of the scheduled castes according to your faith, are they allowed to freely visit your temples or not?" Magistrate said, "Yes, they enjoy equal freedom of entry." He asked the Muslim inspector, "What is your faith?" He replied that he was Muslim. I further asked, "Those who get initiated in Islam, do they still face discrimination as scheduled castes? Are they allowed entry into masjid?" He said, "Yes, they are free to go." Finally, I asked the captain, "What is your religion?" He replied that he was a Christian. I asked him, "Is there any discrimination on the basis of caste for getting baptized as Christians?" He replied, "No." I then stated, "I likewise are compromise, both the edict of caste and purity many folds." Thus, the British officer gained awareness of reality. The Samaj officer now instigated the captain that Gurdwara was property of the priests and none could be allowed to trespass. This initiated further discussion. I protested that the Hala Mahalla would always be taken out, and those guilty of creating trouble should be brought to book under the law. When General Sangat became aware of the details of our discussion, the organizers shivered, sensing more trouble in future. But the vast majority was aroused with religious fervor. On the suggestion of Master Chanda Singh, it was decided to form a committee of 11 people, and their decision would be binding for further action. The committee went into session at Garhi Sahib to come out with Gurumati, decision made according to Gurumati and in presence of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Meanwhile, Babu Veer Singh's brother came to announce, "Why are you so downcast and low spirits?" "I am coming from the school. The officer in charge has sent for the head priest of Gurdwara." I asked the advocate to bring the head priest first to me. I urged him to state facts truthfully. The captain asked him about ownership of the Gurdwara. He replied that it belonged to Panth, entire Sikh nation. He was then questioned about his status. To this he replied that he was a servant of the Panth. "Who are these other priests?" Captain asked further. The reply came, "These are my employees." Range Sajan. The decision was made in favor of Sangat. The British officer also joined in Hola Mohalla celebrations. This was a truly magnificent procession. This was a forerunner victory of Panthic control of Gurdwaras and first event of Gurdwara Siyadar leader, Movement for Improved Management of Gurdwaras. Sri Bibi Joginder Kaur was a living example of old-timer Sikh ladies of Guru's house who had fought shoulder to shoulder with their Singh brethren in soaring spirits. She had impressive and commanding personality. In 1915, leading personalities of Jatha had been arrested in connection with labor conspiracy case. Warders were also issued to arrest Bhai Surjan Singh Ji, husband of Bibi Joginder Kaur. A police party arrived in village Gujarwal to search Bhai Surjan Singh's house. However, he was not present then. Bibi Joginder Kaur put a lock on her outer gate and stood on guard like a lioness. She warned the police party that they could not search in absence of her husband. She roared further, "Be warned and stay away. Any attempt to approach shall lead to serious consequences." Blue turban adorning her head and a sword in hand, she presented an awe-inspiring personality. This discouraged the police from any action. The law also prevented her search with disquieted minds. She expressed courage and boldness. She was only the bold challenge of Bibi Joginder Kaur that restrained the police. Many other houses had been searched in absence of male members. Only Bibi Joginder Kaur proved exception and worthy example of outstanding Sikh lady. She faced police courageously and checked their neftrous activity. She was embodiment of brimming spiritual divine love, pining with utmost yearning. She was blessed with soaring spirit of high spirituality. When she found that many of the Jatha Singhs were arrested, she too felt the urge to volunteer for being arrested and join them. What held her back was the absence of her absconding husband. She was filled with fury of indignation hearing of the acts of cruelty of British government in dealing with arrested Singhs. Most of it had been arrested, but Bhai Surjan Singh was still absconding. One day he came home. Immediately, brave-hearted Bibi proposed to him, "Let us join our brethren in jail. What have we to gain remaining outside?" Ver. Bhai Sahab Bhai Randhir Singh Ji was able to refrain her from this after great struggle. However, he presented himself at the jail. This was the result of promptings of his wife. Our case was under trial in Lahore jail by a special court. 3 judges constituted the court, 2 being staunch Britishers heavily biased against us, and 1 Indian adjudicating his foreign masters. With court in session, there was heavy guarding outside the jail. That is the time when Bhai Surjan Singh presented himself before the jail superintendent for being taken inside. He was highly surprised with this and asked, "Who are you and what brought you here?" Bhai Surjan Singh replied, "My companions are under trial and my warrants have also been issued, so please take me inside. I was not aware of all this, but as soon I came to know, I have come here." Superintendent inquired, "Did you formally present at your home to come upon coming to jail?" Bhai Surjan Singh replied, "There is none other than my wife." Superintendent, "Did your wife not tell you how you had come?" Bhai Surjan Singh replied, "That on the contrary, her strong pleas only have brought me here." This astounded all the jail officials. Bhai Surjan Singh was presented in jail along with us. The chief judge, Mr. Scott, wanted that the accused be handcuffed before bringing him to the court. However, jail superintendent E.L. Ward commented, "Don't you realize that the accused has presented himself voluntarily? You are just exhibiting your oppressive bias by getting him handcuffed." Well, divine will came to pass. All the Jatha Singh were sentenced to life imprisonment, and some of us were sent to Central Jail, Multan. An event at Multan. Bhai Surjan Singh was imprisoned with me in Multan Jail, locked up in different cells. Shri Bibi Joginder Kaur Ji came to the jail for interview. She had requested for meeting me first and then her husband, Bhai Surjan Singh Ji. Her first request was not exceeded, but she was allowed to meet Bhai Surjan Singh Ji. During the meeting, Dr. Ramlal Ji was also present as one of the jail officials. The words conveyed by Bibi Joginder Kaur Ji were most astonishing to all the jail officials. Dr. Ramlal Ji narrated all this to me as follows. I read books like Bijay Singh, Sundry of Bhai Saheb Veer Singh Ji repeatedly. I thought of these as mere flights of imagination and failed time. To believe that such bold Sikh ladies could have existed in flesh and blood. However, in beholding and listening to a Bibi who came for an interview today, I am not just astonished beyond measure, but also extremely delighted. The reason for my delight is that all my earlier doubts have been banished. What I had thought to be mere friction about bravery of Sikh ladies, I saw in this day of flesh and blood. I am now fully convinced that there are souls blessed with true Khalsa spirit in full measure. This lady has surpassed all that I read in books like B.J. Singh, etc., about bravery of Sikh ladies. Whatever I witnessed with my own eyes and heard with my own ears leaves no room for any further confirmation." He described all that was said during that meeting. However, only 6 sample of those words is presented to avoid lengthy presentation. Facing Bhai Surjan Singh Ji, Bibi told him that he was blessed to agitate against British rule. She too wished with all her heart to be able to participate. She reminded him that he was Sikh of the Guru Sahibs, who had sacrificed all his 4 sons and the entire family in service of the Panth and country, that he must remain unshaken in pursuit of his Gurmat ideals and never bring the spirit of bravery of Gorakhs to disgrace. She assured him that she was safe in hands of the Lord and there was nothing to worry about her. There could never be any obstacle to the spiritual meeting between the two. The gifted Nam, fearless, bestowed by Satguru on Bhagtun, was enshrined in the hearts of both and must become their life-sustaining force. Thus, fear of any kind had to be shunned. In any case, body was perishable and would come to an end. If once dedicated life to religious duty, what could be better end than that? Here in this world and in the hereafter, Nam-imbued souls were doomed together in bliss. That the sacrificing services must bear fruit and bring freedom to the country one day. She stressed to make divine Nam as the only support of life. That adversity was the testing time of firmness and faith, that following in the footsteps of Bhai Radharinder Singh Ji would ensure radiance of one's face in glory both here and in the hereafter. At this, Bhai Surjan Singh disclosed inadvertently that Bhai Sahib Bhai Radharinder Singh Ji had not taken any food or drink for past 21 days. This disclose induced the meeting abruptly. The interviewees were sternly told to part away immediately. Bhai Surjan Singh wanted to say something in protest. However, Bibi Ji checked him from leading with the cruel. She assured, "Bhai Sahib Bhai Rari Singh Ji, him that they would talk to each other every day at all, and who could ever stop? The spiritual meeting was irrevocable. The jail officials threatened Bibi Ji that if she failed to leave immediately, she would be pushed out." Hearing the insulting words, Bibi Ji's face reddened with divine fervor and challenged the threatening officials to approach her. She warned that she would tear anyone making such attempt to pieces. None could bear the look of her face in fury, and splendorous with divine glory. Jailer then requested her humbly with folded hands to leave. Dr. Ramlal described that all the jail officials were shivering from head to foot in fear. Such was the unbearable sight of her face in fury, like a lioness. This became talk of the day throughout the jail, and mere thought was causing shivering in the crowds. Dr. Ramlal resolved that he too would seek baptism of Gurmat with all his family, and sought my blessings for bestowing of Sikh faith by the Guru. I hoped this would suffice as specimen of what thoughts were transpired. After that day, I envisioned the glorified face of Bibi Joginder Kaur every day during my jail period. Finally, I envisioned the sight of her moment of death in Hazirabad jail. I noted the date, and it was confirmed after a lapse of many weeks that Shri Bibi Joginder Kaur had indeed departed from this world on that very day. Too many are the miraculous events others like to write about. Dedicated to selfless service, ever ready for any sacrifice, she was always soaring in spirit. Rare are such persons. Her life would verily serve as lighthouse for coming generations of Sikh ladies. She had her only son, who contacted the epidemic of influenza in October 1918. Bhai Surjan Singh was then in Multan jail when both mother and son died with a gasp of one day. She was an embodiment of patience and gratitude to divine in her last moments.